Let's examine some strategies you can use to help in determining if the ID presented to you is fake.
Do you have a driver's license I could look at?
Of course.
Thank you very much.
It's a good practice when carding someone to request the person hand you their ID, so you'll have it in hand and can get a better look and feel of it. One recommendation I'd like to emphasize: if you were to only remember one general principle, I would tell you to simply ask questions. It's likely the easiest to remember, but also the most essential of all the tactics. Here are 5 tips and tricks you'll want to use. Ask challenge questions. When you're talking with someone who's presented a suspicious ID, simply ask them, "How old are you?"
How old are you?
21.
You'll then just listen for any hesitation in their answer. Ask, "What month is your birthday?"
What month were you born in?
6. June.
Pay attention and listen if they answer with a number instead of the month name. That's often a telltale sign that they've memorized their date of birth script, which is usually how it's requested. If you're still suspicious, some additional questions that often expose people with a fake ID. Ask them the capital of the state they claim to be from.
What's the capital of the state you're from?
Los Angeles.
Ask their zip code. People with fakes rarely get one from the same state. Ask the name of the road they live on. They're not often asked this by itself. Check for visual mismatch. Quickly compare the physical characteristics shown on the ID to the person presenting it. Does the photo even look like the person? Do they appear to have the same head shape, ear alignment, etc.? Are the height and weight similar? Does the eye color even match?
Do you have another form of ID?
I do.
Ask for backup ID. Ask to see another form of ID to see if the information matches. If it's a photo ID, confirm it's the same person. If the person pays with a debit or credit card, confirm the name matches the ID. Compare their signature. Not only does this help catch people trying to use someone else's ID, but it's also a great way to tell if the signature is even theirs. If they pay with a credit card that requires a signature, just compare that signature to the ID.
Would you mind signing this? Just so I can match the signatures.
Or simply have the person sign their name on a piece of paper and see if it matches what's on the ID. Watch for duplicates or other IDs. When fake IDs are purchased online, they're sold as a set of 2, both having identical information. Therefore, when you ask someone for their ID, keep alert for duplicate IDs as they go into their wallet or purse. Remember, you have the right to refuse a sale or service to anyone if you have any doubts about the validity of their ID. Don't get caught giving them the benefit of the doubt and end up making a bad judgment call. It's simply not worth it. For the western half of the US, your top 5 faked state IDs, ranked from the most prevalent to less prevalent, are California, Colorado, Texas, Arizona, and Illinois. Let's go over some quick check tips you can use to help you detect a fake ID when checking one of the state IDs above. On the California ID, look at the section marked Height, or HGT. The top right corner of the H should be cut off diagonally. Next, check the feet and inch marks used in the person's height. These should be straight quote marks, not the curly type. When checking the Colorado ID, check the top near the end of the word license. The last E should align with the bottom left corner of the state outline where the card type is shown. Also on the Colorado license is light reactive emulsion. As you can see on this genuine ID, if you look in the secondary photo window, you'll see it looks like a negative image with a naked eye. However, when you introduce light to the rear of the image, it appears as a normal image. Conversely, when you have a fake Colorado license, if you look at the secondary window, it does appear as a negative image, but if you introduce light to the rear of the image, it does not change. If you have a Texas ID, look at the top right corner of the main photo. You should see a small pair of concentric circles that are clear and pronounced. Another feature you can check on the Texas ID is the sound that it makes when you drop it on its edge. When this happens, you should hear a tinging sound. Listen if you can hear it. In comparison, on a fake Texas ID, it is not made of polycarbonate, so you will not hear a tinging sound when you drop it on its edge. See if you can tell the difference. With the Arizona ID, look at the feet and inch marks used in the person's height. These should be straight quote marks, and again, not the curly type. Also, check the last 2 letters of the DD number. These letters should be the ID holder's last and first initials. When you have an Illinois ID, look at the issue date. Take this date, rearrange the numbers to year, 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 month, month, day, day format, and then look at the DD number. This number should match the first 6 digits of this DD number. Next, note the license number from the front of the ID and then flip it over. The control number at the top left should match the license number from the front. Now let's wrap up with what you should be looking for when checking an ID you'll be seeing a lot of: the Utah ID. The bottom edge of the date of birth text should align with the bottom of the secondary photo. Also, note the license number from line 4D. When you flip the ID over to the back side and look at the stacked digits near the top left, the top number should match the license number from the front. As a result of employing the skills you've just learned, you might now be faced with a new dilemma. What should you do when you've determined an ID is fake? One technique you can use if you're unsure of the ID is to inform the customer that because you could be fined and lose your job for selling to anyone under 21, you need to call the police to come and confirm the ID is okay.
I don't know if this is a real ID. I'm gonna have to call the police to check.
One of 2 positive outcomes can play out from this technique. First, they leave your establishment without being served, essentially abandoning their suspicious ID.
Do you mind if I call the police to check?
Sure, go ahead.
Or the second one, they stick around for the police to arrive, and then they will handle it from there. Some words of caution. If you feel that confiscating the ID would put you or others in physical danger, just stay calm, don't argue with them, and give the ID back to them. It's just not worth the risk of injury. If such a scenario does occur, try writing down the name from the ID so you can then notify other retailers nearby in case that person attempts to visit there next. There are numerous reasons why combating fake ID use is so important, many of which can affect you directly. You'll avoid paying substantial monetary fines. You'll keep your license from being suspended or even revoked. You won't be arrested or serve time in jail. You'll avoid civil lawsuits. You'll gain the goodwill and respect of your community. You'll discourage minors from targeting your establishment. You could be rewarded by your local government or your employer. You will help reduce the number of youth who may become addicted to age-restricted products such as alcohol, tobacco, etc. But the greatest consequence in not being diligent and taking fake ID use seriously is what I call the ripple effect. Each of these ripples represent the expanding levels of effect that can result from the use of fake ID by just one underage individual. These life-changing consequences are often realized by unwilling, innocent victims or entire communities, and can have a generational effect on families. However, this greatest consequence can also be the most fulfilling upside to the fight against fake ID use. Just consider the heroic impact you'll have in your ability to prevent these ripples from even starting as a result of your commitment to check ID effectively. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this training. You now have the information necessary to help you ensure the success of your establishment and become a hero in your community. And please remember, a counterfeit ID only has to be good enough to fool the person checking it. So, go out and utilize this information you've learned and avoid being the one that gets fooled.